Hey guys, Jay-Sensei again. This would be what if Yuji's curse technique was Haki, or what if Haki was Yuji's curse technique. So I've been uploading so long, it's just like, I've been trying to work on a script for a lot of videos. This one I didn't really have time to work on a script for. I just kept going off the top of my head and I never really liked it. I've had a lot of stuff going on in school. I've had my headphones break, so I had to get new ones. At least, I didn't get I'd buy things to fix them. I just couldn't find a charger for my other pairs, so those were just dead for a long time because they use USB. They use the old USB, so I can't use those. So a lot of stuff just really happened that interrupted my recording. I'm sorry about that. So you're gonna have to take this really bad what if. I'm sorry. So yeah. Now, this one, the way Haki do Yuji's curse technique is that the Itadori clan would basically they use the powers of their soul. The stronger their soul, the more likely they are to use certain forms of Haki. They can use their soul to spread awareness to every other part of their body. Their soul can basically stimulate their brain to enhance all senses, or stimulate all senses to their peak. That'd be observation Haki. And then their soul can stimulate their brain. Their soul can enhance their brain to stimulate the muscles to conjure up armor Haki. Or then their body or their soul can just basically enhance every living aspect and enforce the power of their soul by exerting it out of their body, which would be Conqueror's Haki. But due to this technique being so strenuous, barely anyone in the clan can awaken it, unless their soul is strong enough. But eventually, in this one, well, each Itadori clan, due to them all having an affinity for armament Haki by nature, well, being born physically strong is not really shocking. The point where in the story, Itadori would actually be born really wealthy because his father never became a sorcerer, but instead can use his enhanced physical power just to acquire wealth. So Itadori is born pretty rich, but his grandfather raises him in the countryside so he can train his abilities away from people. And Wasuke is actually a user of Conqueror's Haki, but it's not that strong because no one taught him how to use it properly. So he has to teach Yuji how to use it to the best of his abilities. So, yeah. Now, he trains Yuji when Yuji's about 5, and between the time of Yuji being 5 and 15, he brings Yuji back and forth to Tokyo because he actually knows Yaga. Wasuke does. Yuji's grandpa knows Wasuke. Or Wasuke knows Yaga. Yuji's grandpa is Wasuke. So Yuji, between the ages 5 and 15, he has met basically every sorcerer that we know that's important to the story. He did go to Kyoto once because Yaga is kind of like Yaga also wants you to see if Yuji would be a good fit at Kyoto. So one time when Yuji went to Kyoto, he met Todo, and him and Todo got along pretty well. Same for him and Kama, they got along pretty well, and so did him and Miwa. Megamaru and him are pretty much just kind of neutral. So only that Yuji doesn't really get along with are Nishimiya and Mai. Those are the only two people who don't really like him, but he's met everyone else at all the schools. People he gets along the best with are likely probably just Yuta. So yeah, he met Yuta like twice in the middle of him training, like after he enrolled in Tokyo, but before the night parade. And Yuji doesn't get to participate in the night parade. So yeah. Back to Yuji's training. As Yuji trains, he's more or less trained to. He's still trained in Taito, but due to just martial arts being so renowned in the family and their brain being enhanced by their soul, and Yuji having a really strong soul and canon, Yuji learns a lot more martial arts than canon. Point where his martial arts skill is basically the highest in the series. Point where like whatever martial art, Toji, Gojo uses Wing Chun. I can actually Google it real quick. Hold up. So we have Yuji's Taito martial arts, Gojo's Wing Chun. Sukuna, when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, he seems more freestyle, but due to how advanced he is physically and how strategic he is, it doesn't really seem like freestyle. It seems very organized just because he's moving a lot faster than everyone can perceive, so it gives him more time to just throw you around. Yuji being raised by a proper sorcerer and someone who's going to be strategic in combat, well, Yuji can basically just combine freestyle with martial arts. So, yeah. But also we would have Toji, who can use Aikido, Iaido. He can use a lot of martial arts involving weapons, basically. Yuji can learn every available martial arts, but he only truly masters Taito martial arts and Wing Chun. So, yeah. But eventually he does go on to probably just Wasuke's death. Due to him basically training a lot harder, him still getting sick, I can see him dying early just because he pushes his body harder than Canon. Like Canon, he's bedridden. In this story, he should be bedridden, but he walks around with a cane. So yeah. But then we go forward again. Now, when it comes to Sukuna's finger, Yuji would be told to bring it to Tokyo Tech because he's moving there. And as he's bringing the finger, well, he's attacked because I still need a way for Yuji to eat the finger. It's way far to rank Yuji's power. Well, we have characters like Jogo who are ranked to be like between 8 and 10 fingers to Sukuna. Yuji's probably about like as powerful as like 5 fingers Sukuna. Like he's probably about as strong as a finger bearer. So yeah, that's about it. So we can have basically Jogo and let's say Jogo and like base Jogo and base Dagon attack Yuji for the finger. Because Geto knows that like Yuji and Jogo would be somewhat close. Jogo would definitely win, but it'd still be too close of a fight to the point where a domain would be used, and that'd be too complicated to hide. So Jogo and Dagon, they attack Yuji, and he's pretty easily able to fend them off really quickly. And he does have a wide variety of weapons. He mainly uses his hands, but he still has a wide array of weapons. But eventually, at some point, the finger will thrown in the air because Jogo would kick it out of his hand. Now Yuji's going for it, and Dagon uses tentacles to basically wrap around Yuji's arms and pull him down. As he was falling, Yuji did have one way to grab it, which was biting and chomping it down. Immediately, Jogo went to punch Yuji in the stomach to make him throw it up, but all Yuji did was wrap his legs around Jogo and squeeze as hard as humanly possible. His legs being a lot stronger than his arms, so Jogo's body is quickly being crushed and about to be snapped in half. Until he blew lava in Yuji's face. Yuji's pretty easily able to actually tank it and pull it back quickly, but he still kept crushing Jogo. But then Dagon went to punch him in the chest as hard as he can, sending him flying back. It didn't really hurt Yuji, it was just a really impactful attack. But Yuji just took this to run away as fast as he could, and hopping on the last train to Tokyo, where Jogo and Geto talk, and they're like, hey, we failed. And Geto's not too surprised by this, so, yeah. But Yuji has to explain what happened, so now everyone kind of realizes that someone is hunting Sukuna's fingers aside from the sorcerers. Likely rogue sorcerers. Their first meeting idea is Geto's group, but they don't keep tabs on them, so they have to keep an eye out for them. Okay, so now they keep an eye out for Geto's group because they assume they might be trying to grab Sukuna's fingers, and so on and so forth. But now Yuji's at Tokyo Tech, and then at this point it happens a little bit early, so at this point when it comes to Megumi going to get Yuji, not going to get Yuji, going to get Sukuna's finger, this time it's Yuji and Megumi going to get Nobara. Due to Yuji basically being brought up to be raised in Tokyo, Wasuke taught Yuji a few skills that he should not learn at 15, including driving. Well, I guess in Japan not at 15. In America it's kind of common to learn how to drive at 15. I still can, I'm 18, but still. But Yuji would basically get his license. He wouldn't have his license, but he knows how to drive. So he ends up driving to get Nobara. Nobara gets in, and then Yuji and her talk about growing up the country, but Yuji grew up rich, she grew up kind of poor. But if Yuji kind of inherited all of Wasuke's money and kind of just put it all in Tokyo Tech. So they kind of just have a lot more training equipment now. But if you guys are curious about a lot of like techniques that Yuji may have, like when it comes to reverse curse technique, if you were to put that with like Haki, that'd be the equivalent of learning Ryuo, basically. Like it basically more or less just deal internal damage now instead of doing just enhanced physical damage. But you can pair it with like observation Haki, that'd be Future Sight, or Conqueror's Haki, it'd be Advanced Conquerors, all that kind of stuff. Or that then we have Maximum Technique, which you guys may not agree with me on this, but I think like Maximum Technique is just maxing out your curse technique. Haki is Yuji's technique, and maxing it out would likely just be literally just invisible Haki. So, yeah. But Yuji had already learned Black Flash and Simple Domain and stuff like that. He learns all the basic sorcerer techniques, including like the only ones he's missing is Maximum and Domain. That's about it. Like Maximum and Domain expansion. He knows everything else. But yeah. So Tokyo Tech, well, when it comes to missions, Yuji kind of just, Megumi isn't injured and Yuji is kind of just adjusting Tokyo Tech. So Megumi goes and brings Nobara on that mission instead of Yuji, Megumi, Nobara and Gojo. But Yuji spends most of his time at Tokyo Tech, just meeting kind of everyone else has seen them in a few months. And he starts training with them, taking more of a mentor role, kind of like how he is in my Toji raised Yuji would if. Part 2 is coming soon, don't worry. The script is just hard to write because so many people survive with that Yuji around, I'm just being honest. So I'm trying to write my way around it. But this Yuji, he's taking on more of a mentor role still, and he's been teaching everyone how to use basically just curse energy more effective ways. As Yuji's output of curse energy is really low, but he has a lot of it even without Sukuna. It's not like Yuta level, but it's still like Kenjaku is still his parent. That was a really bad spoiler, I'm sorry. My bad. But Kenjaku is his parent, so his curse energy levels are just really high without Kenjaku. Plus, he comes from a sorcerer family. That's high curse energy regardless. I wouldn't put, like, Yuji above Yuta, but it's comparable to Gojo, at least. So, yeah. Because there's 2 ways there's high amounts of curse energy. Or at least he has as much curse energy as, like, a special grade curse. So, yeah. But I better than Yuji special grade in mostly every way except for intelligence, where he's kind of like pretty like Megumi actually. So yeah. But Yuji trains everyone at Tokyo Tech a lot more because he enjoys teaching people, as he grew up with a teacher his entire life, being Wasuke. Point out that when it comes down to the Cursed Womb arc, Yuji already been teaching Megumi and Nobara how to use Black Flash because that's a very important technique for them to learn. As he mentioned that if you just train it, you basically can just have your maximum strength put out for a certain amount of seconds, and if you train hard enough, you'll get a certain percentage of how accurate you are for an attack. Well, Yuji's percentage for an attack to land is about 80%. So yeah, it's about 80%, and he usually infuses Haki into his attack. So yeah, plus with his observation, he's able to guide himself to bring that to about a 90. So Yuji is probably the strongest Black Flash. Plus his record is about 8 in a row. Because he's been doing Black Flash for years on end right now, at this point. So, yeah. But eventually it does go on to probably the Cursed Womb arc, and this arc is pretty much the exact same until it comes down to, like, Yuji losing his hand, where he can just negate that. But when it comes to fighting the Finger Bearer just has a lot more curse energy output, and it can damage Yuji a lot more effectively. Because Haki is a curse technique, and not a, well, kind of just a willpower, it can break, and Yuji's Haki does break. Just simply because his endurance is not that like a curse. It's still like he feels more pain, but he can tolerate it more. But eventually he can't tolerate it anymore, so he's just worn down by the curse, and Sukuna takes over. When Sukuna takes over, he immediately kind of just yells like, "This power is unright. Like, I have not felt this much power in my life. Not in my life, but I've never imagined I'd find a human this powerful, aside from me." Which kind of led him destroying the entire building they were in just because Yuji's body gave him such a rush. Like, he just literally one cleave destroyed the entire building and killed the Finger Bearer. So, yeah. So Sukuna ate the finger, and he was going to target Megumi until he said this in shadows, so began toying with him, and then he did try to tear out Yuji's heart. Suddenly, Yuji's chest would just harden with Haki. Sukuna would just chuckle at this. And here's a very key, important part of Yuji's technique. Itadori clan did invent Haki, and it's a curse technique, but it's not an innate technique, or inherited technique. It is literally just a technique that anyone can learn. The Itadori clan just specialize in it. So it just takes a lot of training to use it. People like Gojo, Tengen, and Sukuna, Kenjaku, and a few other curse users or curses can use Haki. They're just not as great as a member of the Itadori clan, but the best are Sukuna, Kenjaku, and Yuji currently. So Yuji would use his own Haki to just kind of stop Sukuna from tearing out his own heart, and Sukuna would try to use Haki to break through Yuji's, him throwing off actual Ryuo. But by the time he was about to destroy Yuji's Haki, Yuji took his body over and just passed out due to just using so much energy. Where he's put in the car and then brought to Gojo, who was just kind of on standby. And Gojo can use Future Sight combined with the Six Eyes, but he's not really like capable of using Ryuo. As only thing he's good at with like positive curse energy is healing himself, and that's about it. And he stated that, so yeah. But we just move forward again. Yuji's training is now put up in a pair with Nami, and they're kind of just a group together now. So yeah. Pause. So, Yuji's paired with Nanami because they're both just kind of very similar when it comes to their power sets. And they get along extremely well, actually. And when it comes to that, it comes down to oh yeah, how powerful are you? Yuji mentions he's pretty powerful, you can use Black Flash, all of that. Plus his license is like a semi-special grade badge. So, Nanami brings up the record for Black Flashes. Nanami says 4, Yuji says his is 8. And then impresses Nanami a lot, as he even shows it off by hitting every curse that they find with a Black Flash and not losing a bit of energy, because he's just so accurate and quick with it. So yeah, then goes on to Junpei. I don't see Junpei's arc being any different at all, because the only thing that Yuji probably could have done is probably just sense curses, but not Sukuna's finger. So yeah, the Junpei arc are kind of just the same, actually. I don't really see many differences. Because Yuji is still a lot like himself, he's just more skilled. So, he has more skilled and has a higher battle IQ, but his overall IQ is basically the exact same. It's just higher in battle. So he has very specific IQ. He's kind of like Toto, basically. Where their IQ, they seem really stupid in person, but when it comes to battle, they're basically unrivaled. So, yeah. I did compare Yuji to Megumi earlier. That was a mistake. I just couldn't think of Toto for some reason. Once a battle, Yuji and Toto are very similar in terms of IQ. But other than that, they're basically just idiots. But, yeah. At this point, Yuji and Toto have established that they're brothers, so it's kind of just their thing. Yuji and Toto have. But, yeah, next up would probably be... I think it'd be the Kyoto Goodwill event. When it comes to the Kyoto Goodwill event, they're just training really hard for it. And Yuji's teaching everyone Black Flash. So as he trains everyone, at this point, everyone has picked up Black Flash in one way. Nobara has already picked up Black Flash a while ago, same for Megumi, where their accuracy for it is about 25%. They're pretty good at it. Well, they're better at it for beginners. And at this point, Megumi even has a few more Shikigami. Let's say he's caught up to his Shibuya art counterpart. So, yeah. And then we probably have just Panda, Inumaki, and probably just those two. Their Black Flash is about 10%. And Maki's just really trained with a new variety of weapons, to the point where Yuji is even giving her weapons that his grandfather had from the Itadori clan. And Yuji's training to use a weapon that his grandfather had dubbed Enma. It's an Odachi that absorbs the power of your soul. If you can train it hard enough, or if your soul gets strong enough, you can wield Enma perfectly. So Yuji's training to wield Enma. But eventually, before we get on to Kyoto Goodwill event, I think I'm ending this part here, because now that I'm this far in it, I want to write a script for it, because I think I have an idea from what I told you, Yuji would have in my 8th surviving video. So, I hope you guys like this part. Like and subscribe for more. Adios.